Hey revolutionaries, I'm dropping a wellness podcast on you today, so stay tuned. All right, Stacy, let's hit the opening.
Welcome to JimJim's Reinvention Revolution podcast, the show that explores reinvention in the digital age as it relates to career, creativity, and technology. Stay tuned for interviews with professionals, entrepreneurs, and creatives that have reimagined success and are making a pivot. If you'd like to listen to the entire back catalog, visit JimJim'sReinventionRevolution.com for instant access. And now, here's your host, JimJim.
Hey everybody, hey, this is JimJim. Welcome to episode 126 of JimJim's Reinvention Revolution podcast. And I'm talking today about wellness, identity, and being uncomfortable. Yeah, being uncomfortable. That's for sure. And I will explain that here in a second. But anyways, thanks for holding on out there, everyone. I know it's been a minute since I released an episode, but I've been on this journey the last couple months, I guess, of getting back into my health and checking my blood work and working on my wellness. So that's what I wanted to talk about today, since it feels like, okay, here we go again. Another reinvention is required. So, and I'm sure people that have been challenged with these types of things before out there probably understand exactly what I'm talking about. But it's one of these things where you have to really, again, open your mind, be open to different behaviors, and be open for reinvention again. So anyways, it's been about 5 years since I did my blood work. I don't like going to the doctor, so it's always a challenge for me just to even go there. But I thought, it's time to do it. I'm getting older. Had a big birthday recently, so it's time to do it again. And for the first time, really, it's gotten me more interested in wellness and health and what's going on, because I'm getting older. I'm not getting any younger. And, you start to feel it at a certain age. So I'm thinking, like, maybe it's time to take more of these health situations more seriously. So, and in kind of parallel, why I got to this point was it was just about time to do it, really. But also, a colleague of mine, she has been working with this doctor and nutritionist couple. They're located in Singapore. They work out of Singapore, but they work worldwide. And she started on this program about 6 months ago, and she's been getting fantastic results, losing a lot of weight, feeling great, learning how to eat better, and track everything she's eating. So I've been kind of observing her, and she's been suggesting, hey, maybe you might want to try this. So I'm like, you know what? I think I will try it too, because it's about time for me to come around to do this. And these are folks that we happened to meet while I was at Podfest Asia earlier this year in the Philippines. So they were on one of the panels there. I was speaking there, and so it was a good connection. I was like, I remember them. Okay, all right, I'll reach out to them and see if they'll work with me. So I started working with them, and so what that has led me to, I guess a long preamble here, is to getting my blood work done, doing all the contemporary tests that people are doing now, which I'll mention a couple of those. But really in combination with the medical, the doctor part of it, but also with the nutritionist and exercise physiology part of it. So I never had this sort of resource where it was both done together. I would go to my regular doctor here in the United States, and they would do blood work, they do a physical, and they would recommend some things, but then it was sort of like, well, you're off on your own, and you go figure out how to do it, or figure out the impact of it all. So it was never, one-stop shopping, which is kind of the part of the bummer of the U.S. system, I guess. And also, I was motivated to try to do this on my own outside of the medical system here in the U.S. because of the insurance part to it. It's hard to order tests. Your doctor has to recommend it, and then sometimes they won't even do the test if your insurance isn't going to pay for it, even though you want to pay for it. It's like, I've told my insurance company, I'll just give them a credit card. They don't want you to do that because they have special systems and procedures they want to do. It's very difficult sometimes to get these things done. So I wanted to figure out a way to do it outside of the U.S. medical system. So that's another challenge of thing I wanted to explore. So there are many reasons to do this. So I'm going to tell you about how I've been going about doing it and the tests that I've been doing. And I just think this is fruitful for everyone who might be listening out there. If you're having these challenges or are interested in different ways to do things, right? Which if you're listening to the podcast, my guess is that you're interested in that kind of stuff. So, all right, so here we go. So, first of all, I had a consult with these folks that are, again, work out of Singapore, but it's online, so they could be next door. It doesn't really matter. And they said, hey, we hear what you're saying. They took my medical history. Here I am. They're like, well, we need some data. And so the data, they said, you need to do all these blood work tests, and they recommend I do a DEXA scan and a VO2 max test. So I'm going to tell you what all those things are. So, and how I did them. So as a person who lives in the United States, and I did them without involving my insurance company or my traditional doctor here in the United States. So what I did was I went and found a local lab, and these folks in Singapore recommended a local U.S. source for lab tests, but I also searched my own source. So I found Quest Diagnostics. So I don't know if anybody out there has used them before. Again, because I wanted to explore how to do this. I've seen these names. I've seen these testing organizations out there. And I'm like, well, let me see what they really can do. Let me see what the process is. It was kind of a rude awakening in a way where I tried to go in there and order tests. It was a little bit funky to get the tests ordered. So I went into a facility, Quest Diagnostics facility, to talk to them just to see what it was all about. And if anybody is laughing right now that's familiar with Quest Diagnostics, that's probably not the easiest thing to do. You have to have an appointment. There's no receptionist when you walk into their facility. It's sort of like just a rude awakening of like dystopia in a way, where it's like you're just dealing with screens and you got to scan your ID, and it's crazy kind of to get into the facility. But I did make an appointment. I did talk to them. I figured out how to do the process. But what's cool about it is you can order any of these tests that you can monitor, like cholesterol, for example, blood test, that you can order on your own without a doctor's orders. I mean, technically there is a doctor's orders, but without your specific doctor and without going through your insurance company, I can basically just order the test, walk in, and get my blood drawn like the same day, which is great. So I needed a bunch of blood drawn because I was going to do the whole litany of tests, and some of the special tests that this included that I don't think even just 5 years ago or previously I was tested for. One was my testosterone level, maybe because I'm a certain age now. I'm sure they were doing it before, but it wasn't this high up on the radar screen, at least for me. And this, I think what's newer, a lipoprotein A test, which it's basically a genetic marker for how susceptible you are to strokes and heart attacks. So if you haven't done that, if your doctor's not testing for that, maybe that's something that you want to check out. Mine happened to be high, kind of off the charts, but it's a genetic thing. So that's another motivation for me to get my diet, exercise, and wellness plan together. So anyways, did the blood work, but we did also these two other scans, which, give me a second here. I'm going to pull up a website or two to tell you what these things are. Okay, so one was I did a DEXA scan, and DEXA stands for Dual Energy X-ray Absorptionometry. Dual Energy X-ray Absorptionometry. Yeah, that's that's a $3 word there. Anyways, so it's basically a low dose X-ray scan. Basically, you go in and lay on a table, and a mechanism scans your full body. You're clothed. It's not inside like an MRI scan, so you're still open to the environment. But this thing kind of scans down your body, and what it can tell is your bone density and how your fat is distributed, like bone, fat, and lean tissues. It can analyze all of those things. So it's like the only way to figure out how much visceral fat you actually have, how much you weigh, what your bone density is. It's really good information to have to figure out, okay, just where you're at. So this is like baseline studies in order to start working on your wellness. So the DEXA scan was the key scan, and it was sort of mixed results. Again, I'm someone who's stayed somewhat in shape over the years. I think better than the average, but I've never been a workout fiend or a diet guy or whatever. I just try to generally look and feel good. Results were kind of mixed. Like I got like a C+, B-. Like, hey man, you got some visceral fat. Your body composition isn't the greatest. Whatever. Okay, that's fair. Anyways, so that's the DEXA scan, and then I also did a VO2 max test, which is Here it is. A VO2 max test measures your body's maximum oxygen usage during intense exercise. So basically, this is the test where you put on a mask, like it's basically like a gas mask kind of thing that doesn't let you, that forces you to pull air through the mask, so it can measure the volume of air that you're pulling as you start increasing your aerobic activity. So you're on a treadmill and you're running fast and faster and faster, and you're supposed to keep running as fast and fast as you can. And at some point, you'll max out in terms of how much volume of volume of air you can pull in and out of your lungs, and that's what it's measuring, your VO2 capacity. So that was interesting. I believe I'm above average in that test, but that was another good test. Again, these were the three baseline tests. So all your blood work stuff, the DEXA scan, and VO2 max. So that was kind of where I started, and then gave the results back to this doctor and fitness nutrition coach team. So we went over all my results, et cetera, and got a few prescriptions. So I got an analysis on the medical side, the doctor's side of, hey, you should potentially consider this and this and this for potential therapies, like potential testosterone therapy, whatever. But on the fitness and nutrition side, the coach, half of the team, gave me prescriptions. She gave me a nutrition prescription and a fitness prescription. So they're just kind of like, it sounds like, so it's like, hey, here's what to eat, how to eat, and here are workouts, specific workouts designed based on your results that you should dig into. So I thought, okay, so here's where the rubber meets the road in regards to digging into this, and this really being a challenge for me in terms of identity and feeling very, very uncomfortable. And I would say, one thing that's led me to this is that, there's a lot of information out there these days, like the Gary Breckas of the world, Dave Asprey's of the world, biohackers, wellness people. Like this, obviously, this is a niche that's exploding. A lot of the, cold plunges and heat therapies and infrared therapies. There's just a litany of therapies, a litany of peptides and biohacking things that you can do. And I don't know what any of them really mean, other than I watch stuff on the internet. But I'm very interested to work with real professionals and do some experimenting, testing on myself to see what's really going to work and what really doesn't, and how do I need to think about it going forward. So that's where I got to. Let's see, this is about maybe about 3 weeks ago, and it took about 5 weeks to book the tests, get the blood test done, get the results back, all that kind of stuff. So it took a while to find a source to do the DEXA scan, to do the VO2 max locally, etc. Did all this stuff, so it was a lot of effort on my part just to get to that point of just testing the results. But then about 3 weeks ago, started going forward with the actual nutrition and fitness plans. And wow, this was like a kind of a revelation, or just real challenge actually, because previous to this, I had started fasting, trying to get my weight under control. I really enjoyed the fasting, and really gave me some insight into like, oh yeah, maybe I have some metabolic things going on, why I can't lose weight properly, which I think a lot of people are probably in the same boat, and they don't even realize it, because you're so, you've eaten a certain way for like the last 30 years, and you don't really realize, I think it's like the subtle, like the frog being boiled into the pot that's just gently warming up. It's like you don't understand where you're at really. But when you start fasting, it became very apparent to me, like, aha, once I fast and I go back to eating, I feel a certain way, or I'm able to drop weight more efficiently because my biochemistry had changed. So very cool. Anyways, so I started on this program, and the program really requires you to eat a lot more protein than you would ever imagine that you'd ever need in your life. At least for me, at least how I'd been eating. So it's basically the recommendations are about 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. So that means if you weigh like 180 pounds, that's about how much I weigh. I'm supposed to eat 180 grams of protein per day. And so that means eating like 50 to 60 grams of protein per meal. if you're eating 3 meals a day. And previous to this, I was eating 1 meal a day because that's what made me feel good, and that's what made my life. That was what fit my lifestyle of playing music and playing gigs and working and traveling and podcasting and such. Yeah. So all of a sudden it's like, whoa, I had to spend a lot more time shopping, a lot more time preparing food, a lot more time thinking about food, a lot more time like getting up early just so I can eat. It sounds crazy, but it's like I got to get up early so I can start eating, because if I do my normal thing of not eating till like 1 o'clock, I can't eat enough and get all the calories in and all the grams of protein in before like 7 or 8. Otherwise, I'm going to be eating at 11 o'clock at night, which is not good for you either. And try to keep it under about 2,000 calories. Whew. So this thing has been really a challenge to pull off. And actually, about 10 days in, actually, you know what? I'm going to read you some WhatsApp messages. So I've been messaging my nutrition coach. So she's checking in with me. She's like, hey, her message was, hey, we're a week out from last Monday's chat. Just wanted to check in with how your exercise and nutrition prescriptions were settling in, and if you need any help right now. And here's my actual, I'm going to read this real quick here, because I was very distraught. I would say depressed even, because it's like, I'm still a little bit depressed, honestly. It's uncomfortable, and I'm not sure how I'm going to be able to do this, but here's what I wrote to her. This is back in the beginning of December. Well, it's been a challenge, a disruption to my life for sure, frustrating. Being focused on food and diet is the biggest challenge. Not comfortable for me to figure out, but I'm trying. I'm hoping my body gets used to it and doesn't reject what I'm doing. I'm feeling full. Heavy all the time is not fun, especially in regard to playing a wind instrument like saxophone, which I do. The workout stuff is a challenge, but easier to do. We'll see how week 2 goes. I'm hopeful, but it's a bit depressing feeling what's ahead. Luckily, I'm coming into my slow season with gigs through the holidays and early winter. And I gave her an example here. I said, I played last Saturday and Sunday nights, and it was hard to fit in all the eating, especially on Sunday. For example, the gig was 6 to 9 p.m. For 3 hours. Double that time is an estimate for what it actually takes out of my day to do a gig. So really, like, it takes 6 hours out of my day, meaning the first part is prep, going over tunes, pulling together set list, equipment, loading the car, so that's pre-gig stuff. 2, driving to gig and setting up. 3, playing the gig, packing up, waiting to get paid, and coming home. So, a 3-hour gig is usually 6 hours chunk out of my day. And that usually tacks on another hour after gig. Like I said, I'm traveling home. So in this case, I needed to try and get all the calories and protein in before 2 p.m. or so I don't throw up into my horn when I go to sit down and practice and go over tunes for the night to come. And also, since I had played Saturday night before, and this was on Sunday, I played late till 11 p.m. and got home like at 1 o'clock, went to bed at 1-ish, 1:30-ish or something like that. Got up about 9 a.m. because I wasn't in bed till 2 the night before. So I started my Sunday at 9 a.m. and then I had to basically stop eating by 2 p.m. because then I started preparations for the gig that night that was 6 to 9. So I had about a 5-hour window to get all those calories in, all the protein. It was hard to figure out. So I say, anyway, figuring out what to eat and when to eat, more experimentation is needed. It's taken a lot of time out of my week so far to go shopping and do my own cooking a bunch. Feels like that's the only thing I got accomplished this past week, which I didn't have time for doing anything else. Learning curve with tracking food, starting to handle it, ordered a small scale. I ordered a Garmin. We can talk about that too. I'm not sure how long this podcast is going to be, but there's just a lot that's going into figuring out the diet part. So the Garmin doesn't work that great yet. Maybe I'm not using it right. Anyways, this is a long message to her about how I'm dealing with what she's asked me to do. And what it boils down to is it got me asking myself a lot of questions. Because it was so frustrating. It's been so frustrating. It's so hard to struggle, harder than I thought it would be, really. Not until you start doing it do you realize, like, man, I can't eat another thing. Oh my God. And honestly, I just sent her this updated post today because she was asking me what's been happening over the last couple of weeks. So that was like at the end of the first week, I sent her that first one. Here's the second one. It's like I said that I just wrote earlier today. Okay, here's the dump. It's coming up on the end of 3 weeks. About 10 days in, I hit a wall. I couldn't eat. My body was hurting. I was so full, literally, I couldn't eat. I had to stop eating for a day and a half. I strained my abs. It was hard just to get around normally, and also couldn't eat anymore. I don't think those two were related. So I didn't eat anything for a day and a half. I felt better, jumped back on the train. So I'm trying to get back into it. But within 10 days, I hit a wall, and my body was rejecting sort of the changes I was making. It's kind of crazy to my mind. Anyways, okay, so what are the questions that I started asking myself? And I found this like spontaneous. I'd be just walking through the day or getting up or like slamming protein shakes or whatever. It's like, here were some of the questions. Who am I? What am I doing? Who does this? Am I crazy? Am I this guy now? This is insane. Like buying a garment. I bought a scale. I started taking a scale to restaurants with me and weighing the food at the restaurant. Who does this, right? Crazy, but it's stuff you have to do if you're going to track your food and figure out how many grams of protein you're having and how many grams of carbs, etc. I remember buying a roasted chicken because I got to figure out different types of foods to buy that I don't normally buy or haven't been normally buying, right? So I bought a roasted chicken, and I remember slamming that thing in 2 days. Like a big roasted chicken is a lot of meat, and I just feel like I'm just shoving more protein in my face. Oh, it's crazy. Anyways, yeah. And so the other final question is like, okay, am I one of these people now who do this, who do all these weird things, like people that you've probably encountered in life before, or watched your friends, or watched people at the gym, whatever, they're maniacs about drinking water, which I need to drink 100 ounces of water plus a day now, and so I measure it with my my Yeti tumbler that's 20 ounces. I got to drink 5 of those a day, so I try to manage it throughout the day. Like I try to drink 2 of them before like 10 o'clock in the morning. It's kind of crazy. You get up and just like chugging water. I guess I'm this guy now. Anyways, the point being that I didn't understand how much of an affront or how much of a challenge it would be to my old identity of who I was or what I was doing. Even though I've been on this sort of reinvention kick for, 6-7 years now, this was just a reminder of like, wow, it's really interesting how your brain works and how your mind works and how you think about things and how you judge things and how you look at others and how you look at yourself. Just wild. Anyways, I just felt like I needed to share this and share that everything is just right now for me in trying to do this is uncomfortable. Like I don't even know how to order food in a restaurant anymore or what to eat really. I'm like really questioning how I'm going to get this done in terms of like getting all this protein in me every day. And here's an example. So I went to a restaurant the other day, and a local place and it's good like fresh organic food, and they have great salads. And so I'm trying to find hacks so I don't have to like, specifically go eat like 7 meals every day to get enough protein in. It's taking a lot of time out of my day. It's like I feel like the only thing I'm doing is worrying about eating. And so I thought, hey, I have more of a hack now, more of an insight. And I went to this place to order a chicken salad, salad with grilled chicken. And I thought, hey, I got an idea. I'm going to order the salad with grilled chicken, and I'm going to add a fried egg and add some bacon to it. So it's more protein all in one meal versus just the normal protein you would get in an average meal. So I go to order it, and the woman taking my order at the counter, she's going so fast through her routine of like, oh, you want this salad? Oh, chicken on it. Okay, what do you want to drink? What do you want to, I'm like, I had to slow her down and say, hold on, because she's ready to total me up and grab my credit card. It's like, wait a second, I didn't get a chance to tell you, I'd like to add bacon to that. She's like, oh, I can add bacon to that. Okay, you ready to go? And she wanted to check me out right then and there. And I'm like, well, wait a second, hold on. I'd also like to add a fried egg. And she starts looking at me like, a little bit funny and weird. I said, yeah, I said, yeah, I'm being a little fancy today. So I think that's what I said to her, because it's not something I normally do. It's a little bit out there, the order, to her, it's a little bit unusual. Like I said, everything throughout my day over the past few weeks has just been uncomfortable. All these interactions. It's like, oh my God. Okay, I'm complaining. I'm a baby. I know that. But it's really true. And one thing I figured out, which I kind of always knew this, I guess over the years, is that I'm needing like more release valve situations in my life where I just have to rant and get it out, complain about it like a baby, and then when I do, my mind sort of resets, and then I go back in and I double down on it. So it's not like I'm not getting it done and not really doing it, but because it's such a challenge to my identity and I reject it so much, it's like it makes me complain, it makes me frustrated. I hate it. I hate it all. I do. I really hate it all. But then I got to go do it. And as soon as I get off this podcast today, I'm running across the street and I'm going to slam some chicken fajitas because I need to get some protein in me early in the day here. So, but that's what I've been up to lately. I just thought I'd share that with people because, when you go through the holidays, end of the year, new year coming up, you're probably thinking about, how do I need to get better? What might I change? Et cetera, et cetera. And one of the things you can concentrate on, maybe should concentrate on, is your wellness. But know that it will be a challenge to your identity. That's okay. Just figure out how to deal with it. Just know that you're going to be uncomfortable. It's going to be uncomfortable. But you got to develop that muscle of being uncomfortable. And the real takeaway after all of this, and thanks for listening to this whole episode if you made it this far, is that I'd rather be uncomfortable doing this rather be uncomfortable and being a patient of some chronic disease, a patient of some cancer that shows up, whatever. That's going to be way more uncomfortable than doing what I'm doing now. So a little motivation for you perhaps, or a little just insight into what it takes to change and reinvent yourself in regard to your own wellness. Yeah, that's what I got for today. And hopefully I'm going to be pumping out some more podcasts here. Actually, I'm thinking about dropping five podcasts on you over the next 5 days as I deal with how my lifestyle is working for me, especially now that I'm traveling. So I'll let you in. I'm going to let you in on where I am in this next episode coming up and how I'm dealing with what I'm dealing with. So that's all for now. Thank you for listening to JimJim's Reinvention Revolution podcast. If you want to hear more, join our mailing list at JimJim'sReinventionRevolution.com. See you next time. And remember, the revolution has just begun. So dig in, embrace the process of reinvention, and start realizing the success you've always dreamed of. Hey, revolutionaries, if you enjoyed today's episode and today's guest, let them know by commenting on their Facebook page, finding their Twitter handle or Instagram feed, and letting them know you heard them on JimJim's Reinvention Revolution podcast, and tell them what you got out of the episode, what you really liked, or how they inspired you. I know they would get a kick out of it, and will help others find the same value that you found.